This is the final breakdown of a narcissist. Narcissistic collapse. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's topic is a real eye-opener. When the demon is dimmed, a video diving deep into narcissistic collapse. It's crucial to understand this phenomenon because it can be incredibly dangerous, especially for those who aren't familiar with narcissistic behavior and personality disorders. So, what exactly is narcissistic collapse? Stick around as we explore this topic further and uncover how it can trap those in close proximity to a narcissist, keeping the toxic cycle spinning. Let's dive in and shed some light on this important subject. You ever tried to explain just how toxic a relationship with a narcissist was, and it feels like trying to describe a tangled mess of wires? It's like that, complicated and messy. But understanding it can save you a ton of trouble, especially if you're dealing with a narcissistic family member or coworker. You got to know how to handle it to avoid getting sucked back into their drama. So let's talk about narcissistic collapse. It comes in different flavors, lasts for different lengths, and hits with varying degrees of intensity. Basically, it's when the whole narcissistic gig fails to deliver what it promised. Now, I'm not shy about believing in the whole spiritual side of things, the dark stuff that some folks let consume them. In this case, it's like the narcissism is running on empty. It didn't get what it wanted, and it's not just a hiccup in one area. It's like everything's falling apart at once. The narcissist is drained because they can't leech off anyone's energy anymore. Even their partner, who's probably worn out too, can't keep up. Their job's a mess, their bank account's hurting. Basically, life's kicking them in all directions, and they can't handle it. Now, most narcissists are slick at covering their tracks. They like to keep up the facade of being on top of everything, even when their world's crumbling. They want folks to envy them, so they'll put on a show pretending everything's fine. But when all the crap hits the fan at once, they hit a wall. That's when they might dive headfirst into their addictions, hoping to escape to some fantasy world where they're still the hero or heroine of the story. It's like a desperate attempt to avoid facing reality. So, check this out. This whole topic got sparked during one of my coaching sessions. We had this workplace situation with a real live narcissist stirring up drama left and right. This person was pulling all the classic narcissist moves, triangulating folks, spreading rumors, you name it. They were gunning for promotion, riding high on what I can only describe as some serious negative energy. But then, out of the blue, everything just went quiet. Like eerily quiet. The narcissist wasn't pulling their usual stunts anymore. Instead, they were showing up late, looking like they just rolled out of bed, total mess. And yeah, we later found out they had a bit of a drinking problem. Turns out, they didn't get the promotion they were banking on, and it hit them hard. Without even telling anyone, they sort of crumbled. No more drama, no more chaos, just a full-on collapse. Suddenly, they're asking for help, showing up late, even trying to sit down during tasks where you're supposed to stand up. It was like they hit rock bottom, and something in the background just knocked them off their high horse. So here's the thing, when the narcissist hits this mini-collapse phase, it's like they've run out of steam in their little war games. All those schemes and strategies they've been cooking up suddenly fall flat, and it hits them hard. They go silent on the drama front, but start looking for sympathy and support from anyone they can rope in. They'll play the victim, lay it on thick, and basically drain others' energy to keep themselves afloat in this funk. Now here's where it gets tricky for anyone caught up with a narcissist, whether it's a partner, a close friend, or a family member. Suddenly, you're seeing the narcissist in a whole new light. Their usual demon-like energy is dimmed, and they're showing this vulnerable, almost childlike side. You catch glimpses of the real them, the person they could have been, the person they're pretending to be now. And it's tempting to think, wow, maybe they've finally changed. But let's not get it twisted. What you're seeing is just a glimpse of their true self peeking through the mask. Sure, it's more honest and authentic than usual, but it's still not the whole picture. The narcissism might be dialed down for now, but it's still lurking in the background, waiting to rear its ugly head again. So, don't fall for the act. Stay vigilant and remember, This is just a temporary dimming of the demon. So, when you see someone going through this mini collapse, it's like they're showing you their vulnerable side, right? They're asking for help, looking all innocent and sincere. And naturally, being the empathetic souls we are, especially if it's someone we care about, we want to lend a hand. But here's where it gets sticky. As soon as you start giving them that support and sympathy, they soak it all up like a sponge. They'd use it to prop themselves back up, feeling all-powerful again. And if they do something nice for you in return, it's like they're saying, see, I'm not so bad after all. But then, if you don't react the way they expect, or if you don't jump on the bandwagon fast enough, their narcissism kicks back in. They start guilt-tripping you, making you feel like it's your fault they're in this mess. And before you know it, they're back on their high horse, riding the wave of narcissism once more. The tricky part is, by giving them a helping hand, you're basically giving them a free pass to knock you down again. So, even though you might catch a glimpse of the real them during this mini-collapse, remember, that's not who they really are deep down. They've chosen narcissism as their MO, and that's the beast they're dealing with. So next time you see someone going through this, tread carefully and keep your guard up. Alright, let's break it down. When you witness a mini-collapse, it's like seeing a taste of karma catching up to the narcissist. They're feeling the consequences of their actions, and it's a bit like a slap on the wrist from the universe. Now here's the important part. Don't get too caught up in this moment. It's temporary, like a glimpse behind the curtain. The real them, the one you've been dealing with all along, that's the one you need to remember. Sure, they might apologize or show some remorse during this mini crisis, but don't be fooled. It's not because they suddenly see the light and want to change their ways. It's because they need something from you, your help, your sympathy, your support. But here's the kicker. Once they start feeling a bit better, their narcissism kicks back in. They start shifting the blame, making excuses, and manipulating you all over again. It's a vicious cycle, and if you keep getting sucked into it, nothing will change except your own well-being taking a hit. So, as tough as it is, you've got to accept that this fleeting moment of vulnerability isn't a sign of lasting change. It's just another chapter in the same old story. If you don't, you'll keep getting dragged back into their toxic cycle, and trust me, that's not where you want to be. So stay strong, stay focused on your own path, and don't let their temporary vulnerability cloud your judgment. You deserve better than that. Picture this. A narcissist, maybe in midlife or toward the end of their journey, facing a big fat reality check. It's like all their past decisions and shady moves finally catch up to them. Their health might be failing, their money might be gone, relationships shattered, and their once impressive facade crumbling. It's a rough ride. So what does this look like? Well, imagine they've put all their eggs in one basket. A get-rich-quick scheme, maybe, and it's blown up in their face. Now they're broke, alone, and maybe even homeless. It's rock bottom, and they're feeling it hard. They might retreat into their addictions or end up crashing at mom and dad's place, tail between their legs. In this moment, you'll see a side of them you rarely do. Vulnerable, defeated, maybe even a bit lost. And if there's anyone left who cares, they'll rush in to help. It's like the narcissist is stepping off the battlefield of life, waving a white flag, hoping for some mercy. And here's where it gets tricky. You might think, maybe now they'll finally wake up, see the error of their ways, and change for the better. It's a natural hope, especially if you care about them. But here's the reality. Unless there's a miracle intervention or they commit to some serious therapy, this change, if it happens at all, is usually temporary. Their personality, their way of being, it's deeply ingrained. It's like their default setting, and while they might dial it back for a bit, it's only a matter of time before they're back to their old tricks. So as hard as it is, don't hold out too much hope for a permanent transformation. It's like hoping a cat will suddenly start barking. It's just not in their nature. Asking a narcissist to change is like asking a lion to morph into a cow. It's a nice thought, but it's just not going to happen. Sure, the lion might try to mosey around like a cow for a bit, but deep down, it's still a lion. And that's the deal with personalities. They're pretty set in stone. It's tough to wrap our heads around the idea that someone who's acting all nice and introspective might just snap back to their old ways once they're back on their feet. But that's the reality. Now, when a narcissist hits rock bottom, they'll take all the help they can get. They might even do a bit of soul searching, dish out some apologies, and agree to therapy. And for their loved ones, this seems like the moment they've been waiting for. It's like, hallelujah, they've finally seen the light. But let's be real here. While it's possible for people to change, it's not exactly common, especially when it comes to narcissists. Sure, you might hear the odd success story online, but those are like finding a needle in a haystack. The truth is, most narcissists don't change their stripes. So, if you're holding out hope for a miracle transformation, just tread carefully. It's more likely to be wishful thinking than anything else. So here's the deal when the narcissist hits rock bottom. They've been down in the dumps for a while, maybe 6 months, maybe even a year. During this time, they'll be doing some serious soul searching, but not in the way you'd expect. Instead of focusing on getting a job or making positive changes, they're looking for a quick fix, an easy way out of their mess. And let me tell you, a lot of narcissists find that quick fix, whether it's marrying someone for their money or sweet-talking their parents for a bigger inheritance. See, when the demon of narcissism rears its ugly head again, it's like the narcissist's signal to get back to their old tricks. And their old tricks, well, they involve lying, manipulating, and bulldozing their way through life to get what they want. And what they want? Well, it's always about them. Their needs come first, no matter what. So, there are basically 2 scenarios when it comes to narcissistic collapse. First, you've got the mini collapses along the way, where the narcissist's behavior goes off the rails for a bit, and people around them need to be careful not to get sucked back into their drama. Then, there's the major collapse, where the narcissist spirals into a deep depression and starts scrambling for any way out they can find. But here's the kicker. Sometimes the final collapse happens. This is when the narcissist hits rock bottom and sees no way out. They might not even ask for help, because that would bruise their fragile ego. It's a sad reality, but for some narcissists, the only way out is to call it quits for good. Alright folks, let's talk about karma hitting the narcissist. See, when you're all about yourself, and you're not out there doing good in the world, just for the sake of it, karma's gonna catch up to you eventually. Sure, narcissists might do some good deeds, but usually it's just to feed their own ego, not out of genuine kindness. So, what happens when karma comes knocking? Well, that's when the narcissistic collapse kicks in. Instead of facing their actions and trying to change for the better, they'll suck up other people's energy and resources to prop themselves back up. It's like a never-ending cycle of selfishness. Now, if you've got a narcissist in your life going through a collapse, here's the deal. Help them out, sure, but don't get sucked back into their drama. Remember, this is who they are, and no amount of help from you is going to change that. Protect yourself, stay strong, and don't let them mess with your head. If you can walk away from the situation, do it. If you're stuck, reach out for help. But whatever you do, don't let them become the demon in your life. There are plenty of people out there who will support and love you for who you are, without trying to tear you down for their own gain. So, that's the lowdown for today. If you've got stories to share, or you want to chat more about it, I'm all ears. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you later.